Hey everyone, welcome back to Ghost Chronicle here. In this episode, I've got 10 real chilling tales from the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. These stories are a stark reminder of why certain paths in Appalachia are best left unexplored once the sun dips low. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this a like or share with your buddies. Drop a comment letting me know your location. Thanks a bunch. It all kicked off with a short-term gig my uncle hooked me up with. Some under-the-radar seasonal work doing property checks in the remote corners of eastern Kentucky. He knew a buddy who owned a small outfit handling upkeep for deserted hunting shacks dotted across the rugged Appalachian ridges. Each autumn, right before the first heavy snows hit, they'd dispatch folks to inspect these spots in person, ensure no roofs had caved in, check for break-ins, spot any decay or critters gnawing at the wiring. Straightforward checklist tasks. The pay was surprisingly decent for how isolated these sites were. And the real perk? Minimal chit-chat with anyone. I was in a rough patch back then, feeling drained and not in the mood for small talk or busy spots. So when they tossed me the truck keys, the paperwork, a fuel card, and access to a worn-out company vehicle, I grabbed it without a second thought. The binder was hefty, around 30 shacks in total, each key tagged with a metal label noting the shack number and the closest stream or path. Shack 1, Shack 2, Shack 3. Most were only accessible via ancient dirt tracks that twisted through the peaks like they were hiding from the world. Zero phone reception, no road markers, just mud, foliage, and the odd forgotten post box poking out from a gully like a forgotten marker. Some shacks held up okay. Others were little more than tilted walls with starry holes in the ceiling. I'd grown up around backwoods life, so it didn't rattle me much. By the end of day 3, I'd cleared 11 without a hitch. A bit of mildew over here, wobbly door hardware there, squirrel droppings in a nook. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then came number 12. The tag read Thornwood Stream 5. No marker for the entrance, just a weathered timber stake tilting sideways, its faded lettering nearly erased by the elements. I eased the truck to a halt beside a drooping wire fence. The strand sagged loosely between corroded poles. No padlock, no barrier chain. Just ajar enough to tempt wanderers, yet shut enough to warn them off. I killed the motor, stashed the keys in my pocket, and hopped out. The breeze was crisp and biting. All around, the forest loomed tight, skeletal limbs clattering like old relics in a box. I vaulted the fence. A faint footpath lay ahead, more etched by erosion than footsteps. It snaked upward in a lazy arc. Took about 12 minutes to crest the rise. The shack perched in a shallow dip, slanted as if straining to slide back into the slope. Dark, aged paneling, a single shuttered pane, a tin flue streaked with corrosion dripping down the tiles like old stains. It didn't scream danger, just abandoned, overlooked. But as I stepped closer, something felt off, something that would soon make me question every shadow in those hills. I knocked out of habit, more reflex than sense. No one answered, of course. I slid the key in, felt the tumblers click, and pushed the door inward. The hinges groaned like they hadn't moved in years. Dust floated up in slow-motion clouds, catching the thin light that leaked through the boarded window. The place was one cramped room. A sagging cot, a rusted propane stove, a couple of shelves bolted crooked to the wall. Nothing looked disturbed. No broken glass, no kicked-in panels. Just sealed in time. The air, though, that was wrong. Not musty, not damp. It was still, too still, like the room had forgotten how to breathe. It pressed heavier near the floorboards, colder in the corners. I shook it off, pulled out the clipboard, and started ticking boxes. Roof solid, windows intact, no animal signs. Clean. Then my eyes snagged on a narrow panel in the back wall, cracked open just enough to show darkness behind it. I stepped closer, fingers brushing the multi-tool on my belt. It wasn't a closet. It was a pantry, but not for food. Floor to ceiling, glass jars stood in perfect rows, sorted by size, then by handwritten labels in a spidery script that looked too careful for comfort. Dozens of them, some tiny, some quart-sized, each filled with cloudy amber fluid. I read the tags and felt my stomach fold in on itself. Tendon knuckle, rib fragment, tongue, earlobe. One jar held a curled strip of skin with hair still clinging like wet seaweed. Another, smaller, was marked tear duct. They weren't random. They were cataloged, Lower extremity, upper extremity, torso, facial. Like a deranged librarian had spent years perfecting the system. I told myself it was old, maybe some outlaw taxidermist or a poacher with a twisted hobby. Illegal, sure, but ancient. I snapped a single photo, flash off just in case, then eased the door shut and marked the form like my hands needed something normal to do. I stepped back outside. The trail looked narrower, the trees closer, branches hanging lower than before like they'd inched downward while I was inside. I started walking, faster than I meant to. The path curved wrong. The slope tilted the opposite way. I should have hit the fence by now, seen the truck, but it was just more trunks, more underbrush. The air thick as wet wool. Sound flattened. No birds, no leaf crackle, just my pulse in my ears. I spun around to retrace, and there was the clearing again. Only now the shack door hung wide open. I'd closed it. I felt the latch catch. Inside, the jars weren't in the pantry anymore. They lined the sill, clustered by the stove, sat in neat rows on the cot, twice as many as before. Labels crisp and fresh: patella, wrist bone, uvula. Dead center on the cot, a squat jar labeled bile. The seal was broken. Fluid had oozed down the glass and soaked a pale ring into the wood below. I backed out, yanked the radio from my hip, thumbed the button. Dead air. Then a long, low buzz like a TV left on in an empty house. I didn't run, not yet. Didn't want to feel hunted. But I moved fast, shoving through briars, boots slipping on moss. Then metal glinted. The truck, exactly where I'd left it. Too still, too clean. I sprinted the last stretch, fumbled the keys, yanked the door. And there, smack in the middle of the dash, sat another jar. Square, condensation-free. Label in the same neat hand, voice. I stared at it one heartbeat too long. Then the engine roared to life and I didn't look back. But the real nightmare was just beginning. I slammed the truck into reverse and floored it, gravel spitting like buckshot. The rearview mirror showed nothing but black trees swallowing the clearing. I didn't slow for curves, didn't brake for the rattle in the bed, didn't dare glance at the jar riding shotgun. The radio hissed once, my own voice faint and warped. You left something. Then silence again. An hour blurred by before another set of headlights passed, going the opposite way. My bars flickered back to life. First call, Uncle. I'm sick, I lied. Can't finish the route, no details. No mention of the photo still burning a hole in my phone. I dropped the keys and clipboard at a gas station dumpster 2 towns over and drove straight home. Didn't stop for food, didn't stop for sleep. Just white-knuckled the wheel until the mountains shrank in the mirror. I deleted the picture that night. Told myself it was over, it wasn't. 3 days later, the jar showed up again. Same square glass, same cloudy fluid, same label. Voice. Sitting on my kitchen counter at 3:14 a.m. I'd been staring at the ceiling, wide awake. The apartment was locked. Windows sealed. No footprints in the dew on the sill. I poured it down the sink, watched the liquid swirl like smoke, then smashed the jar in the trash. Glass dust and bleach couldn't kill the smell. Sweet, metallic, wrong. I quit the job. Moved twice. Changed numbers, but every October, without fail, a new jar appears. Always empty now, always labeled in that same careful hand. Last year it was on my pillow, memory. This year the mail slot clinked at dawn. A tiny vial, no bigger than a thimble. The tag read next. I don't open my mail anymore. I don't answer knocks after dark. And I never, ever drive east of the ridgeline once the leaves start to turn. Because whatever's out there in those hills, it's patient, and it's still collecting. This story ends, but the mountains hold more secrets. The job came through a guy named Vince I'd met once at a hardware store in Barlow. He said they needed hands to hack back overgrowth on private land, cash, no questions, seasonal. He scribbled a number on a napkin, told me to ask for Maynard, and added, "You'll like the quiet if you're not the jumpy type." I wasn't, at least. I didn't think so. Late September, sliding into October. I'd been couch surfing out of my car after ditching a warehouse gig. This felt like a reset breathing room. The Conservancy had no website, no glossy flyers, just an address scratched on the back of a folded topo map older than my driver's license. When I rolled up, it felt half real. A rusted gate on a loose chain at the end of a washboard gravel road off Route 27. A plywood sign hung crooked, white paint flaking, Black Hollow Nature Reserve, authorized access only. The trailhead shack sat just inside, maybe 10x10. Roof warped, porch sagging like it hadn't felt boots in a decade. Maynard was there. Gray buzz-cut, reflective vest, hands like sun-bleached driftwood. Barely spoke. Asked if I had a machete. I nodded. He slid me the map, a pawn shop two-way radio, and pointed to a red circle labeled Section 4. Then he tapped a thick red X over a spot called Pine Gulch. "Stay clear," he said, voice flat as creek ice. "Ground's unstable. You get twisted up in there, no one's hauling you out." I nodded again. He didn't smile, just disappeared inside. I parked beside the shack, slung my pack. Tarp, chow, water, spare batteries, Bowie knife. The trail was narrow but honest. Pine needles thick. Numbered posts every few hundred yards, splashed with faded red paint. Follow the numbers, keep climbing, easy. 3 hours in, I hit the overnight mark. A dirt clearing ringed by pines, broken fire ring. A bench half-rotted into the ground. No shelter, just open sky and leaf litter. I strung the tarp, gathered deadfall, boiled water for noodles. Fire crackled low. Gear laid out like always. Knife within reach, boots by the tarp, headlamp clipped to the pack. Everything where I could grab it if something came sniffing. And something did. First came a soft thump behind me, 10 feet back, no louder than a pine cone dropping. I froze, cornbread halfway to my mouth. Turned slow, nothing, just shadows and brush. I stood, did a full circle, boots crunching. No eyes, no breath. Shrugged it off, sat again. Then I saw it. Dead center on my eating cloth, a smooth river stone. Warm. Not sun warm, hand warm. I hadn't seen it before, and I would have. I scanned the slope. No prints, no snapped twigs, but the air shifted. Like something was waiting to see what I'd do next. I tossed more wood on the fire, moved my back to a tree. Knife on belt, flashlight in hand. Told myself it rolled down from above. Rational lies are easy in the dark, but the night had only just started watching. Sleep was a joke. I dozed under the tarp with one eye cracked, every rustle sounding like footsteps. Past midnight, I snapped awake to a new rhythm. Slow, deliberate rustles, 1, 2, 3 pause. Then again from a different angle. Not wind, not deer. Too measured, too patient. I reached for my headlamp. Gone. My gear had been exactly where I left it. Lamp clipped to the pack, knife at my hip, boots at my feet. Now the lamp sat upright in the leaves, 20 feet out, glowing soft like someone had placed it there as bait. I crept over, knees tight, breath shallow. Picked it up, still warm. Spun a full circle. No prints, no broken branches, just silence thick as wool. I dragged everything into the firelight. Sat with knife in one hand, flashlight in the other. Didn't wait long. Half an hour later, the footsteps started. Just outside the glow. Dull, heavy for a fox, calm for a hiker. They circled wide, then tighter, always in shadow. I shouted. Through a branch. The steps paused, then resumed. Same cadence, like it had expected the tantrum and didn't care. I didn't sleep again. Sat till the fire collapsed into gray ash. Must have passed out upright because dawn slapped me awake. Everything still. No birds, no bugs, just that weightless hush. I packed in 4 minutes flat. No food, no map check, just go. The trail felt wrong. First marker missing. Second flipped backward. Red paint sprayed over the number, arrow pointing the way I'd come. Phone, no bars. GPS stuttering like it was drunk. Hours later, I stumbled on the ranger shack. Nearly dropped to my knees. Unlocked my car with shaking hands. Peeled out without changing shirts. Hit bell point, parked at the first diner, ordered coffee. Waited for the tremors to stop. Took forever to hit the bathroom. When I did, I froze. On my rear windshield, scratched into mountain dust, a perfect circle with a vertical slash through it. Same symbol from the red X on Maynard's map. Same as Pine Gulch? I hit the car wash, scrubbed till my knuckles bled, but the feeling stuck. Someone standing just past the tree line, watching, waiting. That night, every creak in my apartment sounded like those slow, circling steps. I checked forums, hiker boards, local subs. Nothing on the symbol, just vague, stay on the main loop warnings. Then a DM from a burner. Used to work Black Hollow. Made it 4 days? That's all. Account deleted by morning. 2 weeks later, an envelope slid under my door, no stamp, no address. Inside, a glossy photo of me at the fire holding the warm stone. taken from the woods 20 feet back. Perfect focus. Behind me, the darkness wasn't empty. It was thick. I never told a soul. But every fall, I still hear them. Dull pacing just outside the light. And the photo? It's never the same twice. The story ends, but the woods remember your footprints. If the last tale had you second-guessing every trail marker, story 3 will make you question the ground beneath your boots. My shift at the forest station kicked off in that dead hour before dawn, when the world can't decide whether to wake or stay buried. I rolled into the lot with a thermos of lukewarm coffee and gear clanking in the passenger seat. Early November meant ghost town trails, fewer calls, and a silence that wasn't calm, just loaded. That morning, the log had one weird entry, a single radio burst at 4:03 a.m. A woman's voice, faint but steady. Off trail. Can't find the line. Please respond. It looped once, then cut. We get echo bounces or prank static sometimes, but this was too clean. Coordinates were pinned to a dead zone we barely patrolled. No public paths, no routine sweeps. Normally, I'd ping dispatch and wait. But the spot was 2 miles off my grid, and the quiet was crawling under my skin. I printed the cords, loaded extra supplies, and took the service truck to a rusted gate. Beyond it, the path shrank to a deer run, ducking branches, skirting mud. Fog pooled low and unmoving, swallowing sound. Even the crows had clocked out. I replayed the clip on my headset. Her voice looped in my skull, calm like someone reading instructions to herself. The kind of calm that comes right before surrender. 2 hours in, the slope steepened. Then one fresh boot print in moss, small women's size, beside a torn yellow webbing strap. Backpack, definitely. I bagged it, marked GPS, tried the radio. Crackle, then nothing. Phone 0 bars. Should have had coverage. I waved it like an idiot. Still dead, I turned to backtrack. The trail? Gone. Leaves rearranged, landmarks swapped. I dropped to a knee, laid out compass and map. The needle jittered, north to east, then lazy full spins. I tapped it, recalibrated. Same drunk dance. A nervous laugh slipped out, short and hollow. I tied orange survey tape to a branch, picked west by memory, kept moving, marking every 50 yards. An hour later, I stepped into the same clearing, same mossy stump, same boot print, same yellow strap half buried. My tape vanished. No prints behind me. Light dulled to twilight gloom, though my watch read noon. I prepped a rest site, tarp strung, beacon pulsing. Then her voice, clearer through the speaker. Don't keep walking. It loops, calm like old advice. I asked her name. Static swallowed it. Maybe Marin, maybe nothing. That night, the beacon rebooted itself 3 times, though I'd killed the power. Each restart logged new coordinates miles away, though I hadn't budged. I foil wrapped it. Didn't matter. By dawn, 12 phantom logs. Late morning, I found a clearing I'd never seen. Collapsed 2-man tent, silver blanket strung tight, clothes folded neat, rosary coiled around socks, black notebook. First page, Marin, July. Last entry. Tell him I stayed where I was told. Then I noticed 2 fire rings, one ancient, one fresh, still warm. No footprints. And the forest was holding its breath. I backed out of the tent slow, like any sudden move might wake something. The site felt preserved, not abandoned. Watched. I pulled the GPS to mark it. Screen blinked, froze, then rebooted with a lag. When it lit up, the date read October 14th, 2 years ahead. I reset it manually. It flashed again and died for good. When I looked up, the silver blanket was gone. Tent still stood, but the soil beneath was freshly raked. No knee prints where I'd knelt seconds ago. Movement flickered to my right, just a shape, standing still. I stared straight at it. Nothing, only a new narrow path where none had been. I took it. Trees thinned, canopy lifted, and the valley opened. The ranger station roof glinted like a flare. Relief hit so hard I nearly choked. Then the radio clicked. Her voice, close now. You'll see me when you stop walking. I froze, turned. 10 feet back, another tent. Same model, same silver blanket, tied identical. Flap open. Inside, my pack, my half-full bottle, my notebook open to a blank page. My radio still transmitting. I grabbed it all and ran. Branches clawed, mud sucked at boots. A rock sliced my calf, but I didn't stop till gravel crunched under me. Truck was there. I locked myself in, sat 5 minutes, dash radio hissing once, pop, then quiet. Back at the outpost, the wall clock was an hour fast. Supervisor looked gut-punched when I walked in. Said I'd been gone almost 24 hours. Truck log showed 0 miles. Phone never pinged a tower. I muttered not sure when they asked where. Next morning, search and rescue followed my cords. Found nothing. Tent, no blanket, no fires, only 2 sets of my boot prints. One west, one east. I filed the report, signed it, powered everything down, locked the station, drove to the overlook, and never went back. The original message still loops in the log, timestamp now October 14th next year. I deleted it, but every November since, the radio in my new truck crackles at 4:03 a.m. Same voice, same words, same calm, and every time I pull over to listen, the fog rolls in thicker than it should, and the road behind me looks like it's still deciding where it leads. The story ends, but some trails never let you leave. Welcome back, Shadow Chasers. If the last loop left you dizzy, Story 4 will make you question who's really walking the ridge at night. Shift started at 6 sharp, mountains already swallowed by October dark. That fast drop kind where sunset's just a rumor. Appalachians go heavy quiet this time of year, like the hills are holding their breath. Tourists still trickled in for leaf peeping, but after dusk the park emptied. No cars, no voices, just trees and whatever doesn't mind solitude. I wasn't even rostered. Ben called out maybe food poisoning, maybe burnout. I lived close, so dispatch tossed me Miller's Ridge. Loop closed since Labor Day. Washed out, steep, 0 bars. Gate key still hung on the hook, so I grabbed flashlight, half-stocked kit, radio more decorative than useful. Logs last entry, 3 nights old, routine sweep, nothing. I parked at the trailhead, cold already sneaking under my collar. Path narrow, roots like knuckles. Incline that bites your calves just to remind you age is real. 15 minutes in, faint orange glow left of the trail. Campfire embers still breathing. No permits issued for weeks. I followed the smoke, thin and sour, clinging damp. Clearing looked hand-cleared, not natural. River rock ring, steam curling. Stained pack against a stump, zippers rusted open. Greasy sleeping bag coiled like roadkill. And dead center, kitchen knife planted upright. Carrot slicer, but the blade shone too clean. I crouched, swept the light. Park service, you're not in trouble, but no overnight here. Silence. Then high soft a man stepped into the beam. Mid-30s maybe, cheeks hollow, skin parchment tight. Hands half raised, palms out. Didn't mean to startle, he said. Asked if he was passing through. Just resting. Been walking a long time. Permit? Smile flickered, gone. Didn't think I'd need one anymore. Most of this isn't parkland now. Something in that pinged wrong. What do you mean? He studied the trees like reading Braille. You don't hear them. I said no, he nodded slow. Then you're still new. Radio crackled once, sharp static died. I tried calling in, nothing. Told him we'd walk back at dawn, sort it then. He agreed then. Tell the others to stop following me. What others? He pointed past me to the ridge trail. The ones that pretend. They follow lone walkers. You have to check underneath. His eyes flicked to the knife. Not for you. You're still whole. But some change when the sun's gone. Skin stops fitting right, cold slid down my spine. Offered to radio town. He shook his head. They're waiting there. Built the town wrong. Forgot what sleeps beneath. Not raving, just fact. I backed up. You think I'm crazy? Didn't answer. He brushed dirt near the knife, gentle. Crazy's what they call you before you change. Then soft, almost kind. Go before they notice you. I turned, walked fast, then ran. Branches slashed, breath burned. Truck keys dropped twice. Locked in, engine roared, radio hissed, high. Then silence. Drove like hell, chased me. Headlights bounced off trees packed too tight like they'd moved. Main road lit my phone. Missed calls, dispatch pings, claimed interference. Never mentioned the man, the knife, the skin. But every October since, that clearing has a fresh fire ring. Warm, never burning. And sometimes, just beyond the trees, a lantern sways slow, then blinks out. Next morning, I spilled it to my supervisor anyway. She sent a team to Miller's Ridge. They found the clearing, embers still warm, no pack, no bag, no knife. Just one set of prints heading ridgeward. Problem. The ridge ends in a 40-foot drop, raw rock, no rail, no warning. Tracks stopped clean at the edge. No slide marks, no body, just stopped. Case filed, transient sighting, no action. But every year I walk that loop, the ring's there, fresh, warm, empty. One October, a rinsed bean can sat beside the stones, lid curled neat. Another year, 2 sets of prints circled the ring twice, then stood side by side like old friends. Last fall, footsteps trailed me. I spun, nothing. Then past the tree line, a lantern bobbed slow, froze when I froze, winked out. 2 nights ago, patrol done, I hit town. Same man on the shoulder, same gaunt face, same pace. He lifted a hand, not a wave, just acknowledgement. I didn't stop. Rear view showed something else behind the truck. Matching speed, never running, never lagging, hugging every curve like it knew the road by heart. At the diner, I parked under the lamp and waited for dawn. I don't patrol Miller's Ridge anymore. Dispatch thinks I'm burned out. Truth is, some nights I still smell smoke on my jacket, though I haven't lit a fire in years. And when the fog rolls thick, I swear I hear soft footsteps on the roof of the cruiser. Measured, patient, waiting for me to walk alone again. The story ends, but the ridge keeps its own company. Hey again, night owls. If the last tale left you side-eyeing every campfire, Story 5 drags you inside a building that refuses to stay abandoned. My name's Mara. That night I locked the diner just past midnight. Clock above the register dragging like wet cement. October always stretches time up here. Colder than tourists expect. Colors bright but brittle. They come for photos of ghost towns. Don't realize how deep the dark goes once the neon dies. I wiped counters, stepped into the lot. Tyler's truck idled under the buzzing lamp. Leah on the tailgate clicking her lighter like a tick. Tyler grinned that reckless grin. Let's find somewhere better. He knew an old hospital up the ridge. Mudslide shut it decades back, half buried. Maybe deaths, maybe not. He said it like bonus points. Cooler of beer in the bed, valley view from the top. Should have gone home, but the apartment smelled like fryer grease and bleach. And quiet felt worse than stupid. I climbed in. Drive twisted tight, guardrails gone. Fog crawling from the trees like slow fingers. GPS died, but Tyler kept on like he'd memorized the map. Called it Briar Hollow Sanatorium. Leah said her gran whispered about lightning strikes and patients who wouldn't leave. We laughed, thin, nervous. Road ended at a vine-choked iron gate, county still legible in rust. We slipped under, followed broken stone walls, water dripping hollow somewhere below. Moon lit the building, 3 stories. Roof caved center, windows black holes, porch sagging tired. Tyler pushed the door, dry scrape like old bones. Inside, phone lights swept peeling paper, shattered chairs. Dust so thick it muffled our steps. Air stale, untouched. Draft kissed my cheek, though outside was still. Leah heard dripping. We stopped, gone. Split up. Tyler left a kitchen. Leah and I right down a corridor of patient rooms, doors open except one at the end. Chained tight outside like keeping something in. Walls darker, paint blistered. Leah tugged the chain, said it burned cold. We backed off. Tyler found stairs up, rotten but holding. 2nd floor. Gurneys, rusted trays, cabinets of broken glass sparkling like frost. Sweet metal smell. Door marked hydro. Inside, metal tub, chains dangling, pipes to nowhere, one still dripping. Water caught our lights wrong. Tyler leaned in, jerked back. Reflection didn't blink with me. I called bullshit. But my gut sank. And then the building started to remember we were there. We didn't linger in hydro. At the hall's far end, another stairwell spiraled down. Tyler swore it led to old treatment wards. The air grew damper, colder. Shoes stuck to steps. Bottom open to a tunnel, pipes overhead, sealed doors. Dripping echoed far ahead. We walked single file, lights jittering. Handprints smeared the walls, some too high for human reach. One door hung crooked. We nudged it. Circular room, concrete floor, dark stained center. Single metal chair bolted down, leather straps loose. Rusted chain overhead. Far wall, chalk date October 12th, initials smudged. Chalk bright, fresh. Leah whispered we should bail. Her voice bounced, then repeated from the corner behind the chair. Same pitch, same words, no body. Tyler cursed low. We spun for the door. Gone. Smooth wall instead, new door marked electric. Tyler bolted first, light shaking. Leah grabbed my sleeve, air tasted like pennies. Tunnel curved sharp. Single bulb buzzed alive overhead, though power died decades ago. Footprints approached us, small, bare, uneven. Stopped under the bulb. Veered sideways, vanished into concrete. Leah whimpered. I yanked her, told Tyler find stairs. He spotted them, dry, solid. We climbed, top open to different halls. Clean stone, intact ceiling, faint starlight through windows. Smell hit. Antiseptic, sharp covering rot. Low hum behind a door. Tyler pushed. Blue glow spilled from machines still running. Wires threading walls. Center another chair occupied. Figure slumped. Gray skin stretched thin, breathing slow. Head lifted, pale eyes matched the light. Voice not from its mouth. "Don't follow the wrong stairs," Leah screamed. Tyler hauled me back. We ran. Corridors twisted, doors vanished, walls rearranged like a living maze. Reflection in cracked mirror. Us sprinting, but behind us something walked calm, light still blue. Front door swung open on its own. Cold night slapped us. Truck in sight. We piled in, silence louder than engines. Back at the diner lot, we sat staring at the ridge. Leah kept saying her reflection smiled when she didn't. Tyler's knuckles white on the wheel. I watched the tree line, waiting for it to lean. Next morning, chalk smudge on my wrist, October 12th. Washed off, skin stayed ghost pale. At work, same date scrawled fresh on the dumpster. Ground under my shoes damp though no rain in days. Through the diner window, trees bent toward glass like listening. That night I drove home alone. Locked every door, draped towels over mirrors. Haven't answered Tyler or Leah since. Some nights the chalk reappears. New date always tomorrow. And when the fog rolls in, I still smell antiseptic under the fryer grease. This story ends here, but the building keeps its patience. If the sanatorium left you covering mirrors, Story 6 will make you afraid of your own reflection in the dark. Job was simple on paper. Night watch at a decommissioned hydro plant. Buried in the Appalachian foothills an hour past the last cell tower. County hired a small security outfit after scrappers started slicing fences for copper. Old transformers, thick cables, rusted junk that looked worthless until you weighed it. My shift ran 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., 12 hours that melted time into syrup. The plant squatted in a narrow hollow, ringed by pines so thick the stars barely leaked through. Dam was cracked concrete, moss slick. River shrunk to a muddy whisper. Chain link gate at the road. Gravel snaked downhill. Trailer office that smelled of mildew and burnt coffee. 3 monitors cycled grainy black and white feeds. Yard, gate, control building. Timestamps frozen in the 80s. Glitches were normal. Static smears, frames jumping like bad film. Gave the night something to watch when the woods went mute. October meant more trespassers. Hunters, kids on dares, metalheads before winter locked the gates. But Thursday the 13th carried a different weight. Not superstition, just a pressure behind the eyes. By 9, fog rolled in so thick the yard lights looked underwater. River sound vanished. 10 o'clock, first patrol. Fence solid, locks cold, same rust stink. Back inside, gate feed showed it hanging wide. Padlock swinging slow. I just locked it. Grabbed flashlight, stepped out. Beam diffused useless white. Boots squished gravel. Gate was chained tight, lock solid. But 25 feet toward the ditch, single file prints, deep, fresh, stopped cold like the walker evaporated. Radio at my hip spoke my name. Victor, flat, clean, no static, no breath. My own voice recorded and played back. I thumbed the mic. Who's on? Open air hum. Rewound the tape. Static. Then a gray shape sliding from gate to control building. No light, no reflection, same height, same stride as me. Next camera caught it 2 seconds, loading bay. I crossed the yard, fog thinning. Control doors chained, but one link bent like hammered. Door inside, dust, burnt plastic reek, freezing air. Center floor. Perfect circle of black stones, melted copper lump still warm, insulation smell cooking. Radio hissed again, Victor, slower, my exact cadence. Deeper in the hall, footsteps matched mine exactly. Light caught him. My uniform, my badge, head cocked wrong, neck too loose. Radio pulsed with each step, breathing through wires. Air thickened, teeth aching. I dropped the flashlight, beam spun. Caught his shadow stretching too long. I ran, hallways looped, doors repeated. Slammed outside, truck fog parting. Radio whispered, gates open. Looked back, chain intact, gate swinging wide. I left it, drove down the mountain. Headlights carving tunnels, didn't stop till bars flickered alive. I quit the next morning. Turned in the keys, the radio, the logbook. Supervisor said I looked like I hadn't slept in weeks. I hadn't. The monitors in the office were still cycling that night's feed. I asked them to pull the tape from camera 4. They did. Static. Then the gray shape again, only this time it walked toward the lens, stopped, and stared straight in. Same face as mine, but the eyes were wrong, too wide, too still. The timestamp froze. When they tried to save the clip, the file corrupted. Just a single frame left. My badge number, but the photo was blank. I moved 3 hours north. Took a warehouse day shift. Anything with daylight and people. Thought distance would kill the echo. It didn't. 2 weeks later, my new apartment's breaker box started humming at 10:13 p.m. every night. Same low buzz as the old monitors. Lights flickered in patterns I recognized. Yard, gate, control building. I ripped the panel open. Nothing wired wrong, no shorts. Called an electrician. He found a single copper coil melted into the bus bar, shaped like the stone circle from the plant. He'd never seen anything like it. I paid him cash and told him to forget the address. Last October, the power company sent a crew to read my meter. They knocked once, then left a tag. Unable to access, gate locked from inside. I don't have a gate. I opened the door, nobody there, but fresh boot prints in the hallway, dust my size leading to the breaker box and stopping. The humming started again, louder. I unplugged every appliance, killed the main, sat in the dark with a baseball bat. At 3:07 a.m., the doorbell rang. I didn't answer. Through the peephole, hallway empty, but the motion light in the stairwell flickered in the exact sequence of the plant's old cameras. I moved again, this time to a high-rise downtown 23rd floor. No woods for miles. First night, the smoke alarm chirped at 10:13. Battery dead. I replaced it. Chirped again. Pulled it off the ceiling. Found a tiny copper coil wedged inside the sensor, still warm. I threw it out the window. Next morning, the super found it melted into the lobby carpet, shaped like a perfect circle. I don't sleep with the lights off anymore. And every October 13th, my phone, dead and unplugged, lights up with a single notification. Gates open. No sender, no number. I delete it, but the screen stays lit until dawn. Cycling through grainy black and white stills. Empty yard, empty gate, empty control room. And always, in the bottom corner, a shadow the exact height of me, waiting. The story ends, but the current never really shuts off. If the last spark still buzzes in your ears, Story 7 will make you afraid of the sound of your own doorbell. That October, I landed in Dalton's Crossing. A blink and you miss it. 4 houses. One gas pump that shut at dusk. A traffic light stuck on red all night. A mile past it sat the lodge. Forest crowding so close the pines scraped the eaves like they wanted the roof back. Owner Eli looked hewn from the same timber. Tall, quiet, hands rough as bark. Job was simple. Keep coffee hot, lights low, cash nightly, no forms. Truckers and hunters mostly. I was tired of moving, so I took it. First night was easy. Swept the porch, stocked the soda machine, checked in 2 silent guests. Wrote in my notebook to keep time honest. 6 rooms in a row, doors facing the gravel lot. Office cozy with yellow lamps, pine cleaner smell. By midnight, I'd settled. True 12 car passed, coffee stale again. Nothing odd. Second night, 9:58, headlights swept the window. Pickup rolled in, engine coughing. Driver stepped out, tall, mud-caked gray jacket, didn't look at me. Dropped a folded stack of bills. Room? Voice slow, hill thick but tight like speaking hurt. Gave him key for room 4. He flashed a quick empty smile, walked out. Sign the book? He froze, stared at the pen, left without touching it. Bell jingled once, lonely. Morning, Eli brought supplies. I mentioned the guest. He checked the rack, every key in place, including 4. That room's been closed years. Pipe burst, floor rotted through. I swore I'd seen the prints on the linoleum. Eli's eyes went distant. Third night, road dead after 9:30, front door eased open. Bell jingled soft. No one. Air chilled sudden. Door shut itself, bell swaying long after. Outside, wet prints on the porch spaced wide. Led across gravel, ended mid-lot. No car, no tire tracks. Back inside, my notebook lay open. New page, gray ink, shaky letters, night 3. Thought Eli was pranking me. Locals said he scared off help fast. But the handwriting wasn't his. The phone rang, jolted me. Dalton Lodge. Low rasp. Room 4 is leaking again. Click, crackle, dead. No rain in days. Grabbed spare key, walked the hall. Boards creaked louder than physics allowed. Room 4's door cracked, faint light leaking. Pushed it, lamp flickered, died. Bathroom faucet ran full, sink overflowing. Words fogging the mirror. No more nights. Hallway stretched. Suddenly 10 doors where 6 had been. Air buzzed faint static. Ran to office, cash drawer open, guest book gone. Front door locked from inside, bell still swaying. Sat till pale sky, breathing shallow, Eli at 7 sharp. Told him everything. He poured coffee, sat, told the story quiet. Lodge was old mining camp. 50s storm. One miner checked into room 4, went back for tools after shutdown. Shaft flooded by morning. Truck outside, man never found. Every few years someone hears the leak, sees prints, finds the book signed. No one stays past that. He handed me a torn guest book page. My name centered, not my hand, then night 4. I quit on the spot. Didn't wait for sunrise. I packed in 10 minutes, left the key on the counter. Drove out before the fog lifted. Dalton's Crossing shrank to a red blink in the mirror. 2 years clean, I thought. Then the calls started. Every October, 10 p.m. sharp, my phone rings once. Caller ID, room 4. I pick up, hear water dripping slow, steady, then click. Change numbers 3 times, same ring. Last week it came through a phone I'd unplugged from the wall, cord coiled on the counter. Same drip, same silence. I live in a city now, 3rd floor walk up, no woods for miles. Still smell damp pine and old soil after the call. Neighbors complain about water stains on their ceiling, though I've never had a leak. One night, I woke to the hallway light flickering like the lodge's yellow lamps. Door was unlocked, though I'd triple-checked it. Wet footprints crossed the linoleum, stopped at my bedroom, turned, walked back out. Size 10, same as mine. But the tread was work boots I threw away the day I quit. I don't answer the phone anymore. I let it ring till the battery dies. But every October 13th, the faucet in the bathroom turns itself on, just a trickle. Just enough to fog the mirror. Words appear always the same, night 4. I wipe them off, but the glass stays cold for days. Story 7 ends, but the key still turns in a lock I no longer own. Hey again, lost ones. If the lodge left you listening for leaks, Story 8 will make you afraid of stairs that don't go anywhere. My cousin Mason crashed with us after his mom remarried Carl. Guy who smiled too wide and blinked too little. Mason, 17, restless, hated feeling stuck. We lived in a sagging trailer on Calver Creek's edge. Old mining scar where the creek still shimmered wrong colors after rain. Early October, leaves half-turned. Mason burst in from the woods, eyes wide. Found something behind the quarry. Stone steps carved into a slope, 8 of them, ending mid-hill like the builder quit. Said when he stood on them his teeth buzzed, ears rang. I laughed, figured old foundation. He swore no, steps just there, dropped in place. No phone pics, left it charging, but he could show me. Afternoon, we packed cider thermos, crank lantern, cut through brambles, past dumped fridges and tireless swings. 40 minutes in, Mason stopped. There, 8 clean stone risers, moss-rimmed, no top, no bottom. Roots curling through cracks. 3rd step, dead squirrel, eyes closed, no wounds like it laid down to nap. Mason said it wasn't there yesterday. He tossed a pine cone, it bounced normal. Stepped up, grinned. Feel the buzz? I didn't. He climbed to 5, face slackened. You sure? Then to 8, and he was gone. 1 blink, empty air. I screamed his name till my throat bled. Circled the hill, flat dirt, no hole, no Mason. Ran home. Mom went pale. Uncle said run away, he'd done it before. But I knew. That night I watched the tree line. 1 a.m., shadow flickered. Low crawl, wearing Mason's jacket. Lantern caught it. Arms too long, elbows bending wrong, face waxy, eyes blinking slow, mouth stretching soundless. It reached the bottom step, tilted head, placed 1 hand on the stone. I ran inside, locked up. Midnight taps on the window, 3 slow knocks every night. Set a trail cam, caught 10 seconds of static at 12 high. Week later, I bolted to my aunt in Raleigh. Police called him runaway, printed flyers no one read. Dreams now, steps multiply, 13, 20, 30, sinking into black earth. Mason's voice underwater. My name practicing. I don't go near woods. I count stairs everywhere I go, and every October my phone pings a photo from an unknown number. The steps, 1 more than last year. Always a fresh handprint on the newest stone. I haven't been back to Calver Creek in 8 years. The trailer's gone. condemned after the creek flooded and turned the yard to chemical soup. But the steps are still out there. I know because the photos keep coming. Every October 1st, my phone buzzes with a new image. Same hill, same mossy risers, but one more step added. Last year there were 27. The handprint on the newest stone is always fresh, always the same size as Mason's, always smeared like the palm was wet when it pressed down. I tried blocking the number. It changes. I tried smashing the phone. The next morning, a new one sits on my kitchen table, fully charged, locked to the same carrier, same photo already waiting in the gallery. I don't open the pictures anymore, but I can't stop seeing them in my sleep. The steps descending now, not up, spiraling into black soil that breathes. Mason stands at the bottom, face smoother each time, like the wax is settling into something almost human. He raises one hand, not waving, just pointing down. Always down. 2 years ago, I drove to the quarry at 3 a.m., armed with a sledgehammer and a priest who owed me a favor. The hill was there, but the steps weren't stone anymore. They were packed earth, soft, warm, pulsing faintly under my boots. I swung the hammer. It sank in like mud and wouldn't come out. The priest started praying in Latin, voice shaking. The ground rippled. A hand, Mason's hand, burst up through the dirt, fingers too long, grabbed the hammer handle and pulled. The priest ran. I didn't. I watched the earth close over the metal, smooth as water. I still get the photos. This morning showed 30 steps. The handprint had 5 fingers, but the thumb was on the wrong side. And for the first time, there was a second print beside it. Smaller, fresh. My size, I'm packing tonight. Not running, just moving again. But I know the steps will find me. They always add one more before the month is out. Another story ends, but the descent has only begun. Welcome back, midnight drivers. If the steps left you counting every riser, Story 9 will make you afraid of roads that appear only when you're not supposed to see them. I was bouncing between seasonal contracts, anything to keep the lights on. A buddy tipped me to a logistics outfit in Johnson County running night hauls of medical supplies to pop-up clinics in the valleys. Cash quiet, long stretches of empty blacktop. I liked the solitude. By late October, I knew every curve, every fog pocket, every dead zone between towers. One Tuesday, just before punch-out, a fresh slip spat from the printer. Juniper Hollow Extension, priority refrigerated medical samples. Deliver before midnight. Never heard of it. Wall map showed Juniper Hollow Road dead-ending at an old coal mine. Nothing passed. Asked Rick, night supervisor. He squinted, shrugged. New build-out, maybe. GPS has cords, roll with it. Sure enough, the unit loaded a thin gray line off the main road. Single endpoint, no return route. Figured storm season clinic made sense. Left the warehouse at 9. Snowflakes lazy in the headlights, melting on contact. 2 counties without another soul. Fog swallowed the fields. Last mailbox 3 miles in. Then forest. GPS voice, turn left. No intersection, but headlights caught fresh blacktop cutting through pines. Smooth, unmarked. Poured yesterday clean. I hesitated. Arrow blinked urgent, so I turned. Road dipped tight, fog thickened till the hood vanished. Radio static. Phone 0 bars. Odometer climbed. 3, 4, 5 miles, nothing but asphalt and trunks. Then orange glow ahead, not porch light, lantern. 2-story house sagged in a clearing. No cars, no lines, no life. Cords matched. Knocked with the box, keep cool, medical samples. DR opened instant, like she'd been waiting. Woman, late 20s, sweater jeans, smile polite but plastic. You're late. Bring it in. Fridge is kitchen. House smelled antiseptic and attic dust. Bare walls, mismatched furniture at odd angles. Kerosene lantern on the counter. Followed her. Fridge ancient, cord coiled on floor, unplugged. She noticed my look. Been acting up. Turned her head like listening behind her. Then a man's voice, low, calm, from deeper. Ask him to check the date. She stiffened, didn't answer. Same voice identical. Ask him to check the date on the label. No date on the box, just a torn white sticker. Stomach dropped. I'll swing back for paperwork, I muttered, already backing. She didn't move, breathing fast. Behind me, floorboard creaked slow, deliberate. I walked, didn't run, hit the porch, heard drag scuff inside. Truck reverse headlights swept the house. She stood in the doorway, arms limp. Hallway behind her. Tall figure, thin, just visible before light slid past. GPS gray line gone, screen green unmapped. Diner off the highway called Rick, told him the address. Long silence. Lorne, no drop tonight. No extension. Order number's bogus. Box sat sealed on my passenger seat, same as I'd loaded it. No signature. I left the box on the loading dock and told Rick to burn it. He didn't laugh. Next morning, the manifest was clean. No Juniper Hollow, no extension, no order. The gray line never reappeared on any map. I kept the job, kept the route, but I never took the printer slips without double-checking the wall map first. 3 Octobers later, I was running empty back from a clinic drop when the GPS chirped the same calm voice. Turn left in 500 feet. Same stretch of empty highway. No road. I slowed anyway. Headlights caught fresh asphalt peeling off the shoulder like it had sprouted overnight. Snowflakes melted the instant they touched it. The arrow blinked red, urgent. I kept driving. The voice repeated louder, turn left. Phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number, samples overdue. Fridge acting up again. I pulled over, killed the engine, and walked the shoulder with a flashlight. The blacktop was real, warm under my boots, no seams, no paint. It curved into the pines and vanished. I took one photo, then another. By the third flash, the road was gone. Just frost-crusted gravel, and a single set of tire tracks that ended where the asphalt had been. My own print stopped 2 feet short, like the ground refused to let me cross. Back in the cab, the box was on the seat again. Same gray plastic. Same torn sticker, now with a fresh date scrawled in red. Today. I hadn't loaded it. The seal was broken. Inside, 6 glass vials, cloudy fluid, labels handwritten. Liver, lung, heart, tongue, memory, name. The last vial was empty, cap loose. I slammed the lid, drove straight to the warehouse, and left the whole thing in the incinerator cage. Rick watched the flames without a word. I quit that night. Took a desk job in Knoxville. Fluorescent lights and cubicle walls. Still get the texts every October. Same number, same message, samples overdue. Last year, the photo attached showed my apartment building from the street. Snowless, porch light on. The timestamp was tomorrow's date. This morning, the printer at work spat out a single slip while I was grabbing coffee. No one else in the office. Same gray line, same endpoint. The label now reads, Return to sender, fridge full. I'm staring at the blacktop outside my window. Wasn't there yesterday. Another story ends, but the route always finds a driver. Welcome back, Last Light listeners. If the Phantom Road left you checking your mirrors, this story will make you afraid of the silence after the last knock. I'd been couch surfing in my sister's basement after the divorce, licking wounds, counting days until the next rent check. October 28th, phone buzzed with a local number. Need a hand tomorrow. 1 day cash, no questions. Voice was gravel and smoke. Said his name was Harlan, lived up on Pike Ridge. Tree down across the drive. Needed it cleared before the county truck came. Simple. I needed the money. Agreed to meet at dawn. Gravel switchbacks climbed forever. Pine so thick the sun came in slivers. House sat in a bowl of its own making. Clapboard gone gray, porch leaning, one rocker still moving though no wind. Harlan met me at the gate. Tall, stooped, beard like steel wool. Paid half up front, pointed to the oak split across the drive, roots clawing sky. Chainsaw was old but sharp, gas can full. Work fast, he said. Storms coming early, I cut, hauled, stacked. By noon the drive was clear, sweat freezing on my neck. Harlan brought coffee in a tin mug, black, bitter. Watched me drink. You hear anything while you worked? I hadn't. Just the saw, my breath, distant crows. He nodded slow. Good means you're still outside. Asked what he meant. He looked past me to the tree line. Some get invited in. Most don't notice till too late. Paid the rest plus a 20 bonus. Started the truck. Harlan tapped the window. One thing. Don't stop if you hear knocking on the way down. Not once. Not for anything. I laughed, figured old man's joke. He didn't. Road down was the same gravel, same tight curves. Halfway, engine coughed, died. Rolled to the shoulder, silence thick. Popped the hood. Nothing obvious. Then the knock. 3 slow taps on the passenger window. Clear, deliberate. Looked empty glass, fogged from inside. Wiped it, no prints. Knock again, driver's side now lower like knuckles on metal. I started walking, phone dead, boots crunching. Knock followed, pace matching mine, always just behind the truck. Reached the county road at dusk. Thumbed a ride to town, left the truck. Mechanic found nothing wrong, battery full, fuel clean. Drove it home next day, no knocks. Thought it was over. That night, 11:47, 3 knocks on my sister's front door. She was out, I froze. Knocks again, patient. Through the peephole, empty porch, rocker still. Knocks moved to the window, then the wall, circling the house. I sat in the dark till dawn. I moved out the next week. Took a studio above a laundromat in town, concrete walls, street lights bleeding orange through the blinds. No trees, no gravel, no silence. The knocks followed anyway. Always 3, always patient, always at 11:47 p.m. First on the door, then the window, then the wall beside my bed. I stopped answering. I stopped sleeping. I started taping over the peephole and sleeping with the TV on low. Didn't help. One night the knocks came from inside the room. Soft, hollow, right behind the headboard. I sat up, heart hammering. The wall was blank. Then a scrape like something dragging across drywall. A single nail popped out, rolled across the floor and stopped at my foot. Another followed. Then another. By morning, every nail in the room lay in a neat circle around the bed. The walls were smooth, no holes. I called Harlan's number, disconnected. Drove back to Pike Ridge at noon. The house was gone. Not burned, not collapsed, just gone. Foundation stones cracked and mossed over. Driveway already sprouting saplings. No tire tracks but mine. I walked the clearing. Found the oak stump, fresh cut, but the rings were wrong. Too many, too tight, like decades compressed into months. In the center of the stump, 3 knocks echoed up through the wood, slow, deliberate. I pressed my ear to it. Harlan's voice, faint, dry. You stopped. I left the ridge and never went back. But every October 28th, the knocks start early. 3 at dawn, 3 at dusk, 3 at 11:47. Last year, they came from the ceiling. I looked up. A single nail working its way out, spinning slow. It dropped, landed point up. Another followed. Then another. I moved again same night, left everything. New place, new locks, new city. This morning I woke to 3 knocks on the inside of my skull. Not loud, just there, like someone testing the door from the other side. This story also ends, but the invitation still stands. Thanks for listening to all 10 tales, night crawlers. Keep the porch light on, the doors locked, and whatever you do, don't stop when it knocks.